BlogTalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to a conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. In this conversation, this is part 2 of Kundalini and your health, and we'll be pursuing that in just a moment. First of all, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Amelia Centaur. Hello, Amelia.
Hello, Chrism, and hello, everybody. Good to be here.
I would like to thank you, Amelia, and your husband, and your lovely children, and your dog and your cat, and everybody there in the Kingdom of Kerry in Ireland for allowing this program to go forward. So many thanks to you, Amelia.
You're very welcome indeed, Chrism, and everyone.
And I would like to also thank Eileen Lauro and Barbara Berry and all of the people who have given their time and their expertise into bringing this Kundalini information into the public domain. I would like to thank Glenn Ola for designing and maintaining the site called KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, and I encourage everyone to take a visit to that website. I would also encourage people to go to KundaliniMatters@gmail.com and Kundalini Living, Eileen Lauro's website. I would encourage you to visit any of the following groups, the Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 on yahoogroups.com or the same name on Facebook groups. And there's also a Kundalini Healing both on Yahoo and Facebook, and there's my page is Chrism Kundalini on Facebook, and you're welcome to go there and read that information there. So I'd like to welcome all of you to this program on Kundalini and health. I believe Centaura may want to make an announcement. So I'll go ahead and let you go with that, Centaura.
Okay, thank you very much, Chrism. I would like to take this opportunity to let you know that if you want to support Chrism with the work that he does, he is a very unique teacher. He works 24/7 supporting people in their Kundalini awakening process. And if you would like to support him, then you can go to a link and you can make a donation there. The link is, I will give it to you now, it is www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And thank you very much. All donations are received with love and gratitude. That's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And thank you, Chrism.
Thank you, Amelia, for making that announcement. So right now I'm broadcasting from Barstow, California. So if there are any listeners in Barstow, hello to you. I will be traveling for the next 13 days across the United States from California to Florida. So I just want to welcome anybody that may be on that way, and salutations to all of you who are exploring and experiencing the Kundalini. In this program is Kundalini and Health. Last time I covered, I think, pretty much the physical aspects of it, though. Just to do a quick recap, I would like you to remember to take caffeine out of your diet, take processed sugars out of your diet, go as organic as you can. Do not be afraid to go strictly vegetarian or strictly carnivore, or a combination of both. Pay attention. For those of you that have the awakening occurring, pay attention to what the Kundalini wants you to eat. Sometimes it needs that compact protein in the meat, and sometimes it'll direct you to just go straight into the vegetarian and fruitarian regime. So remember that. Stay hydrated with coconut water, and I have one here that I'm drinking right now. This is called Vita Coco. It's not from a concentrate. It's from the green coconuts, and you can get it in the organic, and so I'll suggest that one to you. Very good. You got to remember that coconut water, coconut milk, as it's sometimes referred to, is a survival food. You can literally live off of the product of the coconut. So I want you to remember that as you're within your Kundalini awakening process, to stay hydrated. This coconut water, it seems to be pretty well distributed around the world now. So do your best to get some, and if it's not too expensive, partake of it daily. If you can get watermelon, partake of that daily in the morning, especially for those of you that are working through the first and second chakra transformation periods. The watermelon can really save you from going into paranoia or fear or any of the symptoms associated with excessive levels of adrenaline in your bloodstream, which is what the body will put out. The adrenal glands will put out often in excessive qualities, or I shouldn't say in excess, because this is what the Kundalini is designed to do, is to hyperstimulate certain areas of the body, and this is one of those areas that gets hyperstimulated. And so the watermelon is a great natural, organic process and combination of nutrients that will help keep you cool and help keep you collected, calm, cool, and collected within, this somewhat difficult area of the Kundalini awakening experience. So do remember to get as much watermelon as you can. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's in season now, so feel free to partake of that. Feel free to partake of the coconut water. Stay hydrated regardless. Stay hydrated and really feel, as you're walking down that grocery aisle or wherever you pick up your food, feel what the Kundalini wants you to have. Sometimes she'll just want you to have fish. Sometimes she'll just want you to have some sort of a meat. Sometimes it'll say strictly vegetarian. You won't be allowed to go near meat. Surrender to that process. Surrender to that inner guidance. It will not fail you. The other aspects of your health, and I'm going to go straight into the emotional health. The emotional health, well, first of all the 5 bodies of Kundalini expression are connected to each other. The physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the psychological or the ego body, and the spiritual body. They're all connected together, and many of these systems are going to respond at the same time or in different combinations during your experience. And let's be clear, within the Kundalini awakening experience, this goes on for life. This doesn't stop. Yes, some of the gross and shall we say heavily tactile and difficult areas will subside. Definitely, it will subside. That's not an issue at all. What I'm saying is that the transformation in the awakened state from a mundane human to divine human is a lifelong process. And the combinations that your 5 bodies will go through, either, let's just use an example, your physical and your mental systems may coincide with a specific experience, or your emotional and ego systems will coincide, and then you may get emotional, ego, physical. Then you may get physical, spiritual, emotional. I mean, there's many combinations, with a series of 5 that the Kundalini can bring. And so don't be surprised if you feel emotional and physical at the same time, or any of the other combinations. This is also a natural process that the Kundalini will pick and choose. It will begin to play you like an instrument. You become that Kundalini guitar, that Kundalini clarinet or saxophone or whatever instrument that appeals to you. You become that instrument, and the Kundalini plays its music upon you, and that music is what transforms you. So as we continue, the emotional systems, this is very, 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 very important. You will receive levels of emotional expression that will cause you to just laugh and laugh and laugh and smile. And it won't be your normal, ha smile. It will be this extremely serene level of smiling that you see on some of the pictures of the Indian gurus, where they just got this beautiful smile on their face, it's contented. It's an ascended smile, a smile of grace, a smile of Kundalini just flowing through you. You just love everything. Everything is just beautiful and loving, and you feel the divine expression coming through every level of creation. It is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful experience, and I highly recommend it to everyone. And for those who are having the Kundalini awakening, this is exactly what's coming your way. And for those of you who are inside of it right now, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you can see garbage on the side of the road and go, "Oh my God, what beautiful artwork!" You could see any aspect of creation, and it's just a beautiful joy to experience. And conversely, you can also have levels of tears and emotional heartbreak that are also pushing the limits of the spectrum of the human emotional body. So just as the love is pushed to that extreme pole, so will some of the other emotional qualities be pushed into their extreme poles of expression. And I want you to kind of not see this as a line, like, say, extreme love on one end and extreme, sadness, say, on the other end. It's not like that at all. I would suggest you see it as a dot, a circle of energy, and it's expanding. Tendrils are coming from the dot, expanding itself into a multi-pronged star, and you'll see that the Kundalini is the driving force that is pushing those experiences into widening the dot and then filling in the dot and creating a dot that's a million times larger than the previous one. So as the emotional system goes through its many expressions, and you can have emotional purges that will come from experiences that you've had in this life, or experiences that you've had in past lives that need to be purged now because of the level of Kundalini energy that is coming into your 5 bodies of expression. Each of those 5 bodies have their own levels of karma attached to them. Karma being ideas and actions and thoughts that are products of previous incarnations or products of this incarnation. An incarnation being a period of time as a soul in a body. And yes, of course, this is relating to reincarnation, which I'm a firm believer in, as the Kundalini basically says. This is the way it is. Whether you want to see it or not is up to your own choice, but this is the way it is. And so I am extending that information to you about reincarnation. It is a real deal, and you are part of that real deal. So as the collected emotional expressions of emotional karma come into this body that you're having right now, and inside of a Kundalini awakening, you must surrender to let those emotions vent. They must be given the freedom to express. So go into a closet. If you're not in a situation where you can cry or sob or heave or do any of this stuff where nobody can observe you, and therefore nobody can become all upset or concerned for you. Oh, Chrism, what's the matter? Why are you crying? They won't have an idea that, I need to cry. This is a good thing. They won't understand that because it's outside of their paradigm of expression. So as this occurs, and as you are able to do this in private, preferably, go out to the car, go out to the car at night, go wherever you can go, where you can receive some peace and some quiet. I mean, if you're with a spouse, take, that's a little more, because spouse is always kind of like, whoa, why did you leave the bed, honey? That type of thing. If you feel that it's appropriate for you to tell your spouse about the Kundalini and about these changes, then you'll have to do that. If you feel it's not appropriate, then just go to the bathroom and have the experiences there. Anyway you can do it, have the emotional purging. Let the emotions purge, because if you don't, it's going to come out in areas that may not be appropriate in your waking or in other parts of your life experience. So let the emotions come through. Do not try to control them unless you're in a public setting. Yes, if you're in a public setting, definitely control your emotions. Do not, start shrieking in anger or sobbing in sadness or joy or love. People will think that you're crazy, and they'll try to help you by, having you incarcerated in a psych ward. Not the best option, in my opinion. Many people do go that route. Let the emotions come forward. Just like any kind of an eruption on the physical body, whether it's acne or a boil, as some folks have experienced, let it go. Get the toxins out of your body. You can have emotional toxins. As a matter of fact, here in the West, where where many people are taught not to express their emotions, those emotions become infected. Those toxic emotions begin to infect the personality and the conscious experience of emotions by the person. You'll see these people walking around you with intense and permanent frown lines on their face. It's a permanent frown line. It's like, whoa, has that person ever smiled in their life? You'll look at that, that there's a lot of pent-up hurtful emotions that person is holding in by virtue of sheer control. Well, with Kundalini, because the amplification comes so strong and so fast and so amazingly powerful, you're not allowed to hold it in. And the Kundalini in many ways will force you. It will force you to release those emotional toxins. And I want you to just get out of your own way. Let those emotions come forward. Once they're purged, they're purged. It's not a forever thing. It may be, for a few weeks, maybe. But, the Kundalini in you knows your situation. It knows what you're going through. It knows your family life, your work life, your friendship life. It knows you better than you know you. And so it knows the correct time for you to pull over and let that purge happen. Let that purge happen. So here I am. I'm driving across the country, and let's just say, oh my gosh, I'm driving along and I'm inside this part of the Kundalini awakening experience, and all of a sudden the sadness just overcomes me, or the joy just overcomes me to the point where, oh my God, I'm going to have an accident if I don't pull over. Pull over! I'll pull over off that road and I'll have that experience. I will let that experience come through me, flow through me. I will let that go. Don't even wait for a rest stop. I mean, if a rest stop's come up, fine, use the rest stop. If not, the next exit, pull off the freeway, because in the States, you can't just park on a freeway. Pull off as soon as the safest exit is for you to do so, and have that experience. Cars are wonderful for this. I had one student, because she couldn't talk to her husband, she couldn't talk to her family. She was having, extreme Kundalini experiences, and so she'd leave the bed, she'd get into her car in a frozen area of the United States, and she'd start driving around the car. Kundalini would tell her to pull over. She'd pull over, and she'd have her emotional experience. She would have her purge. Okay? I'm going to strongly suggest that you let your emotional body feel free. Make the time in the day, make the time at night to let the emotional body have its purging, whether it's of love, or whether it's of sadness, or whether it's of hate or anger, any of those qualities that we've been conditioned to bury in our day-to-day expression. let those expressions come through. You must let those expressions come through, or they will come through in the worst possible moments. Okay? You will not have the strength, and I know many people are saying, I'm emotional control. I can control everything. I can control what I do and what I say and how I say it, to whom I say it to, and I never cry. I'm mucho macho. I never cry. I'm fully in control. Oh yeah. Those are the folks. Those are the folks that have a meltdown, like a Mount Vesuvius meltdown, or the volcano that destroyed Martinique. I mean, Mount Pele, volcano Pele. So yeah, those are the folks, because the human consciousness cannot withstand the release of Kundalini agenda upon the body. They just can't do it. It is not supposed to be able to be done. This is something that you're supposed to embrace and love and obey. I don't know, I use that bad word, obey. But you need to really pay attention and to follow the instructions, shall we say, of the Kundalini, because if you don't, it's going to blow through you somewhere, somehow, and typically not in an appropriate atmosphere or environment. But some of you are going to have to learn that way. The ego is so strong, it's like, wow, 40 years old, I don't need no Kundalini to tell me how to be. I can just be any way I want to be. The way I've done it always, it's the way it's always going to be, and boom, they're laid out on the floor in a fetal position, sobbing like a little baby. Make your choice. You know, what do they say? You can either do it the hard way or the easy way, but either way, it's going to be done. For those who have the awakening. Am I right, Amelia?
You are correct, Chrism.
I'm
laughing because no. Yes, I do. I wrote on the group that I'm actually sort of in the middle of something like that at the moment, or I was particularly about 2 weeks ago. It's got a bit easier since I began to really let it come more than I had been. I wasn't aware that I was resisting it as much as I was. You know, I was saying my mantra, I was going into the bathroom to cry and do things like that, but I was still suppressing it. I was still kind of controlling it on a level that I wasn't aware of, because I didn't want to be seen. I was trying to manage so many things at the time, but I've created, I'm allowing myself to do that now, and it has made a big difference. I actually had some physical eruptions as well. Can I say something about that?
Sure. I was just going to ask you, what combinations of events did you experience?
Well, you see, when it begins, when it began for me, I wasn't aware. I mean, it began with me feeling emotional about things, and so it began gently enough, and then other things began to happen. I started to have physical things going on. My ears started to hurt, and after a few days, I had a boil come into my ear, a huge eruption, and it was excruciatingly painful. And at the same time, I really feel my psychological body, my ego, my thought process, everything was really expressing, but I was seeing it as being in turmoil, and so I was a bit all over the place, and so I really wasn't allowing it to come, and I was trying to control it. And I think the physical eruption in my ear was part of that as well.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. It happens in many ways, many combinations. It can also happen with the teeth. If a person is suppressing emotional qualities, the teeth can form an abscess, or as you say, the inner ear can form an abscess. An abscess can form inside of the nostrils, typically about 1/8 of an inch inside the upper lip of the nostrils. And, various ways that the Kundalini will exert force upon the body. If you're not going to allow it to do certain things, or you don't recognize, because you don't have the knowledge to let certain things happen, then the body will be co-opted by the Kundalini, and the Kundalini itself will begin to form an expressive release of the toxins from the body. As you said, Centaura, an inner ear boil is extremely painful, and I do not, my heart goes out to anybody that's having one. One of the ways, and I need to go back into the physical now, so excuse me, I'm going to change channels from emotional to physical. As the Kundalini awakening or activation progresses within a person, the eustachian tube of the inner ear can begin to spiral. So when the MD looks into your ear with the otoscope, they'll have to kind of like dig it in there just to get around the turns of the spiral. I cannot tell you why, except that everything is of a spiral nature. Even our genes are spiraling, and so it's not a surprise to see that we are changing from, in a physiological expression, into a spiraling quality. Well, what can happen is if you take a shower or a bath or you go swimming, water can get into that eustachian tube. It can collect on one of the spiral portions, and it can infect. So what I'm going to suggest you do is I'm going to suggest, gently, that you dip a cotton swab in some hydrogen peroxide after you take a shower, and you gently, massage that H2O2 or the hydrogen peroxide into the ear, and let that take care of any potential infection that may be developing for you. If you take a shower every day, do that, and you'll probably not have to deal with an inner ear boil. But just remember that even if you do that, and the Kundalini wants you to have that experience, you're going to have it. You're going to have it. Okay, so be clear with that. There's nothing the MDs can do about an inner ear boil. When I had one, I've had a few in my experiences, and the last one I had, when they looked at you with the scope, they couldn't even get to your eardrum. They couldn't even see the eardrum because the swelling was so large, and so you just, you have to try to get some pain control, talk with your Kundalini, you look at what emotions you're suppressing. What are you not hearing about other people's emotions? What information are you denying yourself because your ego won't allow you to hear it? And it also is dependent on which side, which ear is having it too. Is it the sacred left or the sacred right? And if it's, if it's one or the other, well, what qualities of that sacred left or sacred right telling you that you're not hearing? Sacred left being the sacred feminine, sacred right being the sacred male. Okay? These are all part of the fifth chakra. So what part of communication coming to you from Kundalini, coming to you from very important sources, say within your life expression, are being blocked? And why are they being blocked? So you have plenty of questions to ask yourself. One of those questions is, what is your hygiene with regards to your ears? And so really, really look at that. Look at that. They won't be able to, they can lance it, but that doesn't mean that the infection won't continue. It'll typically take a number of days for this to calm down. They'll probably give you an antibiotic to try to settle with it that way. That can work sometimes. But if none of that is available to you, if you don't live in an area where there's an immediate doctor, you don't have the funding in the United States, like me, I have no doctor. I have no insurance. I have no income. And so for me, I am at the mercy of my Kundalini. It takes care of me. And I pay attention. I pay attention. to what it tells me. And I'm going to suggest that you do the same, whether or not you have an MD, whether or not you have a dentist. You pay attention and you be diligent in your hygiene and your maintenance. Just to get a little further into it, you can get a rash with the Kundalini. You can get a heat rash, typically in the lower pelvic region.
Sorry, Chrism, sorry. I also just, what you're saying there about the fifth chakra and all the things, it was my right ear connected to the divine male, and all the things you said there with regard to listening and communications all fitted exactly, with what has been going on for me. And my glands in my throat, I got a rash in my neck. All fifth chakra physical stuff began to happen as well, so I had a rash too, and swollen glands, and extremely hot in that area all around my throat and my ears and the fifth chakra.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh, and also the boil, what you're saying there as well about the Kundalini, paying attention to the Kundalini and the Kundalini looking after me as I began to realize, some things that were occurring. I had lanced the boil the day before, but it had built up again, and then the boil burst spontaneously as I began to go in, as I began to let the emotional purging come. It burst spontaneously, and I know this sounds gross, but the gunk and stuff just kept coming out of it all day long, and I think that was connected to just letting the purge happen emotionally, and I think the purge happened physically as well. Anyway, I'll be quiet.
Yes, they will reflect each other. And I know this may be disgusting to some of the listeners, but I tell you what, better to you to hear it now. Better to you to hear this now and have this information now than have to go through it yourself. Seriously, inner ear infections are very painful, as many of you know. Anybody that's have swimmer's ear, anything like that, you know what that's like. And so you really don't need to go there. With Kundalini, you have a heightened tactile response, and so you feel things very, very strong. That includes pain. You feel pain very, very strongly. And so I appreciate you sharing those details of your experience with us, Santara. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome indeed.
So as we continue, often you'll get a rash. You get raised bumps on the skin. It'll come to a head, and it'll be kind of like a goldenish type of fluid inside it. It's a histamine response, really, and it has to do with the Kundalini energy upon the body. The Kundalini will do this at times. It's common, and yet it doesn't stay very long. It'll happen in the rectal areas. It'll happen on either side of the upper areas of the legs, where the legs connect to the pelvis, around the genital areas. It'll happen there. I want you to not freak out about this. No need to go to a dermatologist. Sometimes it'll happen on your face. It'll happen on the neck. It'll happen in your underarms, and for the women under the breasts. It'll happen there, and I just want to underscore the fact that you need to keep these areas dry. Go unclothed whenever you can, only when it's safe and nobody can see you. But do try to be natural as you can. Don't be afraid to be in your own private space, in your own private way. In your own private space. So this rash will come, and it will go. It will itch. There's some itching. As I said, it's a histamine response. Typically, your histamine responses will have some itchiness to it. MD won't understand. MD will think, oh, you must be allergic to this or that, and they put you through this whole allergy thing, when in fact, it is the Kundalini, and you're not allergic to anything. You're just having a response to the Kundalini that is coming out as a heat rash or a rash. Okay? Don't scratch it if you can help it. Just let it go. The histamine reaction will stop. It'll reverse itself. And the very next day, often, that rash is gone. So, once again, though, keep the areas clean and dry. Especially in the private areas, keep them clean and dry. If there's a place where you can do a little sunbathing, get some light on there too. 20 minutes one side, 20 minutes the other side. That's enough. That's enough. If you live in a highly moist environment like, say, Florida, where there's a lot of water in the air, you just have to partake of some of these things, maybe a little bit longer. But if you're inside, well, then you can control the humidity inside your home to a degree, if you have a humidifier or if you have an air conditioning unit or things of that nature. So know that the rash has come. It's not going to stay very long. At the max it'll stay maybe 3 weeks, but typically it stays just a few days and then it goes away. It may return. Nothing is wrong. Once again, it may return. Everybody's body is different when it comes to this type of a thing. And so just realize that this rash is associated with Kundalini, and you do not need a medication. You do not need a topical ointment to try to get rid of it. Okay? This is part of the Kundalini suite of symptoms that come to a person. So just know that. Now, sometimes I'll have people take a baking soda bath if they have this on their body. So you basically put a small or a medium box of baking soda in the bathtub in a hot bath, run that hot bath, stay in it, anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, pat yourself dry, and what that will do is the salt will have a positive effect on the rash. And, if you have a lot of those histamine fluidic places, patches on your body, well, the salt will take care of those as well. Okay? So moving onward, I also need to get into your teeth. I know I didn't cover this last week, and I only had an hour. And here's the other thing. I'm gonna go as in depth with this as I possibly can. I don't care if I have to do the next 10 shows on Kundalini and your health. I'm gonna do it, okay? Because this stuff needs to get out there. So your teeth, floss your teeth, massage your teeth. Your teeth are very, very important to this process. In the beginning of my process, so long ago, I didn't know any of this stuff. And when my awakening experience it became so bad and so difficult for me to understand even what was occurring, put me out on the street. I became homeless. Wasn't able to take care of my teeth the way I really needed to at that time. I needed to go through the brutal experience of not being able to take care of the teeth, because that turns into dental caries or cavities and certain infections, and all of this stuff came to me because I was homeless and I wasn't able to have the dental care that I should have had. Or not should, but I needed to have this so that I could tell you what to do, 23 years later. So that was part of my experience. And so I'm telling you now, 24 years later, I'm telling you now that, yes, indeed, you need to continue. I don't care what circumstance you find yourself in. You you keep your teeth clean. Floss is not expensive. Use floss or use those little picky things, whatever you want to use. Keep your teeth clean. Keep your gums massaged. And what I mean by that is you can massage them with a piece of birch wood. Birch wood is good for this. People use birch with dental work a lot. So massage it with birch wood or massage it with your fingers. Clean your hand. Clean it. And massage your uppers and your lowers inside and on the outside. If an abscess is forming, well, you'll know. This. A sac of fluid will form within your teeth, and I typically would not let that stay. I know a lot of people like to let it just burst on its own, and I'm not one of those people. I'll get a Kleenex in there, I'll squeeze it, I'll get that fluid out. It just bugs the heck out of me. That's me, though. I'll preempt the natural bursting process, and I'll I'll clean that up myself. And I've done that on numerous occasions. It hasn't hurt me a bit. The body still responds naturally. So keep your teeth clean. Do your best not to have the lead-silver combination. I don't care what the dentists tell you. The mercury that they use within that composite will leach into your system. It will leach into your system. You know, a lot of the dentists use the silver mercury fillings, and, you know, they use them for years, and, you know, nobody wants to say, oh, gosh, you know, the thing that I've been doing for the past 20 years has caused so much anguish for people. You know, so a lot of that is them just protecting their practice. You know, and I just got to say, nobody blames them because the technology at the time was the technology at the time. They didn't know. So do as natural thing as you can. Try to stay away from those. If you can get a plastic composite or another type of a composite for your dental work, then do that. Do that. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you already have the silver merc in there, don't worry about it. Your Kundalini knows what's going on. If you can afford it, and the Kundalini arranges for you to have that removed, get them removed. Get them removed. Okay. Get them removed. With the eyes, I'm going to move up to the eyes now. Sunglasses have become a real style thing. You know, it's like, oh, look at those cool shades. Oh, I just want to wear those all day long. And they you know, they're a level of fashion that we just love to partake of. And one of the issues around eyeglasses, or not eyeglasses, but the whole shade thing. I'm rolling my window up because I got people sitting next to me. Is they block certain levels of frequency of light. And I'm going to suggest that you do not use sunglasses in every instance. I will suggest, unless you're looking at a lake or an ocean where they have, you know, the sun is refracting on the legs, on the waves, and it's making it very difficult to see. Or the same thing when the sun is setting in traffic, and, you know, when you're driving, you need to see and see clearly. I will suggest you use sunglasses with polarized lenses, okay, so that you can really eliminate a lot of the glare. Other times of the day, this is not something that is healthy for the eyes to hyper expand the pupil within bright light situations. No. I will suggest that you take the glasses off. Don't stare at the sun like some of the sun gazers like to do. And I'm not judging them. That's just what they like to do. I'm suggesting that you allow oblique levels of natural sunlight to be given into your eyes. And by oblique, I mean, like, you know, for instance, you're sitting in traffic and somebody's chrome reflects the sunlight and it comes into your eye from an angle that is not in your direct vision. It's oblique. It's an oblique level. Let that come in. Let those frequencies be given into the optic nerve, which flow right into the spinal column, which flow right in and mix in with your Kundalini. Let natural sunlight come into your spinal column. Do not block this with sunglasses, okay? Especially the blue frequencies of light, okay? So that's what I'm getting for the eyes at the moment. Also, because you're crying so much, either with joy or with a purging of sadness, your lacrimal glands will be overly used compared to how they're usually used. The lacrimal being the tear ducts or your tear glands. You know, keep your eyes clean. Keep the areas around your eyes clean. Let those tears flow. Let them flow. Soak them up with a clean napkin or Kleenex or cloth, handkerchief. Let those things go. You know, those ducts can become infected too, but typically they're an out type of gland, and so one-way gland, and so you're not sucking up tears with the lacrimal glands, and so they don't get infected that much. But if they do, let them. Just don't try to. The skin is so elastic in that area that it's very difficult to manipulate it, and so you can't. You may have to get an antibiotic for that if it occurs. It's not that common. Styes and things of that nature, you can go ahead and have those looked at. Moving into the nose. Inside the upper lip of each nostril, you can get an infection, or it feels like an infection. Actually, it's an inflammation. It'll feel like a large acne expression right under the upper lip, inside about 1/8 of an inch. This thing will form, and it's painful. It's painful. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Don't pick at it. Don't pick at it. Let it run its course. If it comes to a head, then gently take a Kleenex in there and either drain it that way or do what other people like to do and let it do that on its own. It's up to you. I'm personally a little more proactive in those areas. We talked about your ears. Women, grow your hair as long as you can. I think I may have discussed this last week, but grow your hair as long as you can. As long as you can, and as fully as you can. Okay. For the females, it's a very strong conduit of Kundalini expression through the hair. For the men, you can also grow your hair as long as you can, but also don't be afraid to grow a beard. There's a reason why so many of these holy men have so much hair. There's a reason. Look at it as like a fiber optic. Hair is a Kundalini fiber optic. Kundalini travels up the hair, through the hair, the shaft of the hair, from the follicle through the shaft of the hair, and that line of Kundalini radiates its own radiation through that hair. And so the hair is it's like a form of, it's like a tube of radiance. It's like a tube of radiance. And so really, really, really look at the hair in a different way, from beyond that stylish, fashionable thing. Okay? Now, yes, I understand, the question of, the Buddhist monks they shave their head. Lots of people shave their head. That's fine. That's fine for them. And it's, it's part of their belief system, and they're not going to be shortchanged or anything like that. People cover their heads with yarmulkes, I think they're called, or hats, or scarves, or, turbans, all of these things. But I'm saying from a Kundalini context, let the hair go. That doesn't mean you don't brush it. Brush it, maintain it, clean it, condition it if you need to, but let it grow. Do not become subservient to social programming about what is appropriate hair and what is now coarse. If you're working in the food industry, they're going to ask you to do other things with it. If you're working in the military, they're asking you to do certain things with it. And I understand that and go with that flow. But if you're not constrained to do anything with your hair other than have it, then have it and have it well. Let it grow. Let it go. Let it be a conduit of radiance expression from your Kundalini to the environment. Okay? Moving into the, yikes, I didn't realize I was going to cover so much of the physical, but this is Kundalini coming straight through. Moving into the genital areas. There will be levels of severe arousal with the Kundalini and a lot of how do I typically put that? So, just a second here, I'm looking for a word. Self-stimulation. There we go. Sorry about that. I like these to be G-rated programs. So a lot of self-stimulation may come about due to the arousal caused by the Kundalini in the genital area. Let yourself do that. Bring it to full expressive events, orgasmic events. Let that happen. I know a lot of the religions are saying, "Oh my God, if you're losing your life force, or you're losing this, or you're losing that. Oh my gosh, you should be celibate. You should be this way. You should be that way." Well, I'll tell you what way you need to be. You need to be the way the Kundalini wants you to be, not the way social programming within belief systems or structures of belief systems demand that you be. It is not a one-size-fits-all with Kundalini. Kundalini is coming at you from karmic areas, from areas of combinations of lifetimes and events and agendas that you have no clue about, and neither does the belief system that you may be following. So when the arousal gets to that point, well, you respond. You respond the way you're naturally given to respond. There will come a time when you will be given to not do that. Okay, you'll be given to not do that. And then I want you to surrender to that as well. You will not get to do that. But for a certain period of time, about 3 weeks, month and a half, during the early parts of the awakening, you won't be able to not do that. I refuse to be sucked into any of the jokes that come by. But I will I will suggest that women, keep yourself within the grasp of a parking meter. I call it the parking meter syndrome for the girls because, they'll walk 6 steps and they'll have another orgasm and have to lean against that parking meter, and then they'll walk another 6 steps. Now, look, if you're having these orgasms, these ecstatic experiences during work, which does occur, you may have to excuse yourself during that business meeting and just go to the bathroom. Have it. Do whatever you need to do to maintain your hygiene, and then come back to the meeting. If this is happening profusely, one after another, after another, after another, for the women, I'm going to say wear plastic underwear. For the men, you'll typically not have. You'll have more of a control over this, or you'll be given more of a control because some of these. Well, it just seems to happen that the men, even though once they're out and about, they'll be extremely. For the men more so than the women, you need to stay away from the pornography. Stay away from the pornography. And that includes magazines, that includes movies, that includes certain types of businesses. Stay away from that. Do not engage in that. If you have to self-stimulate, fine, self-stimulate. Do not fantasize about pornography. Okay, there's a big difference there. Same with the women. For some of the women, do not fantasize about pornography. This is not about pornography. People naturally tend to go there because that's where they experience release of those. Pardon, someone's going to slam a door here. There we go. Okay, so that's where they experience the release of these arousals. Do not go into pornography. This is not about pornography. Okay. Moving onward, move. You need to move. I don't want you to have a stagnant energy response. I think I may have covered that last time, but just a quick recap. Don't let yourself become a couch potato. You get and you move, you dance, you run, you exercise, you work, you clean your house, you clean your teeth, you clean your body, you take your showers. Try not to use commercial soaps. Use natural soaps, goat milk soap or pine tar soap or soaps that are not, nothing like what you'll find commercially offered in the stores. Find as natural a source of soap as you can. Absolutely natural. Remember, these chemicals are going on your body, being sucked into your pores. Okay, so take care of the physical body this way. Keep the rectal areas really clean and really dry. And if you have the opportunity to use a bidet, B-I-D-E-T, a bidet, then use that bidet profusely. Do not be afraid to use that bidet. Use it. Use it. It's a blessing that you are able to do that. If you don't have a bidet, I want you to really, really clean the area well. After you do your initial cleanings, then I want you to to get more tissue, and I want you to wet it down, put some soap on it, and really clean that area. You know what I mean. I'm not going to get any more details than that. You know what I mean. Clean it. Don't turn the potty time into library time either. Kundalini can expand blood flow into certain areas, and so, you know, hemorrhoids can become an issue. So I don't want that to become an issue because you're sitting on it too long. So there's that. Clean between your toes. I know this is all general stuff, but it needs to be said because not everybody does. Not everybody has the ability to. You know, it can be difficult. So clean between your toes, clean your body, clean behind your knees, all of these areas. Clean them. If you don't need to shave your legs or your armpits, don't. If you do need to, then continue. You know, I try for as much of a natural look, but I know in the States, you know, the women, you know, it's about shaving the underarms. I don't got a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I'm moving through this here. Oh, yes, mouth sores. You may have mouth sores that are resembling herpes simplex 1. These are common. It's a very, very common thing. The Kundalini may put a level of stress on the body, anxiety stress, that will cause these blisters to appear inside your cheeks and under your lips and even in the corners of your mouth. They call it a cold sore. I don't want you to freak out over this. I do want you to keep your selenium, your zinc, and your vitamin C levels increased. 1,000 milligrams of a vitamin C complex, that complex containing 500 milligrams of bioflavonols, 500 milligrams of hesperidin, 100 milligrams of rose hips. See, I'm doing all this from memory. Hesperidin, that's Hesperdan. Hesperidin, hesperidin. Bioflavonols, those two are the most important. Then you can get rutin, if you can get rutin, if you can get 100 milligrams or 500 milligrams of rutin in there, that's great. Take that daily in the morning with food, with the watermelon, hopefully, that you're eating. And then also, along with that, if you're having a good breakfast, and I always suggest you have a good breakfast. Don't skip that because you're on your way to work or dropping the kids off at school. Have a good breakfast and take, I was taking 100 milligrams of zinc and 200 mcgs, which are micrograms of selenium with food. Okay, that was how I really, really kept a good, healthy level of experience with regards to the mouth sores in the mouth. And don't let those freak you out. It's just because the body is responding to the stress that the Kundalini can bring. And all, you know, as it goes through the systems, it'll stress out the muscular system, the skeletal system, the endocrine system. The immune response will get stressed a bit too. It's not stressing it in the way that you may understand the word stress to me. It's expanding its potential, and by expanding the potential, those potentials need to be worked out to the furthest pole or spectrum of experience. Okay, and so you'll see these things happen. Don't freak out. It's natural. It will recede back to the normal thing. Also, get yourself a good multi-mineral mix. Make sure you have levels of magnesium in that. Okay, moving on. I think I covered this last week with the thyroid. So look for those vertical ridges on your fingernails and your brittle hair and the loss of hair at the outer ends, extremes of the eyebrows. Look at that. Moving on. Okay, so I'm going to shift again now. So how much time do I have left, Centaur? I don't have my little thing on here.
Just 30 minutes. You have a half an hour left.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I think I'm going to do another show on the health because there's a lot more to go. So you know, Feel free also to email me at kfireforall, that's KFIREFORALL, at yahoo.com, and give me suggestions on show titles that you'd like. Or you can email Centaura at kundalinimatters@gmail.com as well. So continuing onward. Often the physical symptoms will be in conjunction with emotional symptoms too, because it is known by the Kundalini that we are very, very emotionally repressed in this society in the West. It will create bridges of symptoms that correspond with an emotional blockage will become a physical blockage. And so you can often trace the physical blockage, as Amelia was suggesting, to the emotional blockage. And so this works very well as a diagnostic tool. Okay? Have a look at that. There can be levels of extreme levels of rage and violent thoughts, rage and angry thoughts. And I want you to just let those run its course. Do not make any decisions. And certainly don't make any activities based upon these levels of expression. Experience them, let them happen, then move through them. Do not let them dictate any kind of activity. Do not drink alcohol at all. I don't care if you're wine tasting. Don't drink any alcohol, because this can allow entities to become the arbiters of how your rage or anger, which a lot of them are attracted to those expressions, they become the controllers of how you are going to manifest that rage or manifest that anger. So be very careful not to have any alcoholic libations or methamphetamine or any of those, from psilocybin, any of those things. Keep clear of those things while you're having your your Kundalini awakening emotional responses. Let yourself laugh. Let yourself cry. Let yourself enjoy beauty. Let yourself be angry. Let yourself run the gamut of the emotional expression. Let yourself do this so that these emotions do not, a bridge is not built into the physical expression as a way of pointing yourself to that location. I'm not sure that came out very clear. I hope so. Okay, moving on. The mental body. You may become exceptionally brilliant, exceptionally wise and brilliant and a savant. You may, seriously smart. Seriously smart. You will know things that you have no business knowing. You'll know things that you've never cracked a book about, that you've never seen on TV, that you've never Googled on the internet. And yet you'll know them in intimate detail. You will know. Sorry about that ringing. People are sending me email. Anyway, so be okay with this. Not that you wouldn't be, but don't try to figure out, oh my gosh, how do I know this? I've never read a book about this. I've never looked this up. I've never worked with this. It's the Kundalini downloading that information into you. It is part of your future status quo. And your shall we say in a computer language, your database is being upgraded. Your hard drive is being expanded. So accept that with grace and gratitude. Accept that. And then I want you to accept this other side of the coin and the mental process as well. I want you to accept the fact that at times you'll be as dull as a well-worn sock whose mate has been lost. So it's that solitary sock that got separated from its mate in the dryer or in the laundry somewhere. You'll be as dull as a sock. You'll be as dull as lint that comes from the sock. You won't be able to figure out which way is right, which way is left. You'll be really stupid for a while. And it's not because anything is wrong. It's just that level, that pull of experience is being pushed to its maximum. Sometimes, in order to become really, really amazingly smart, we have to become amazingly challenged in that area. So don't be surprised. Nothing is wrong. It's a normal thing. Often in the West, we try to figure things out. The more things we figure out, the more successful we are in our life here in the West. With the Kundalini, I'm going to ask you to turn your figuring it out mechanism off. Don't try to figure out the Kundalini. It will preoccupy you to the point of where you're really missing some of the really important levels of experience that the Kundalini is bringing you to. So turn it off. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to know why it's doing this, or what is this, or how is that, or how can that be? Oh, my God. You know, there's a lot of OMG moments. Don't try to figure it out. You can ask the Kundalini, and if it wants to tell you, it will. You can ask your teacher, and if they feel that you need to know, then they'll tell you. But don't get into this figuring out mode. It's just, it's spinning your wheels for no reason. Okay? Steer clear of that if you can. You may find yourself becoming a little OCD. This is normal as well. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is what OCD stands for. You may become obsessively compulsive with certain things. For me, it was making sure pictures were straight on my wall. Oh, my God, that picture's slightly off, a millimeter. I must correct this. For other people, it's making sure the silverware is straight. It'll come out in various ways. And basically what it is it's communicating to you a level of balance, a level of balance. You know, the picture for me couldn't be tilted one way or the other. It had to be an absolute balance. This was my response, my physiological, emotional response to my inner self being in balance, me being in balance with myself, me being in balance with my Kundalini. And this may come out in you as well. Don't be surprised. You don't need to take a medication for this. And your parents and your friends or your family or your MD or your counselor are like, well, you know, Chrism, we have a medication for that. Yes, I'm sure you do. You don't need a medication for any of that. You don't need a medication for any of the Kundalini responses at all. As a matter of fact, I'll suggest you steer clear of all of them. No, I am not an MD, and no, I'm not giving out medical information here. But until the medical authorities understand Kundalini beyond a spiritual emergency, they're way behind in how it is we treat for Kundalini, and we don't typically chemically treat for Kundalini. Okay, an FYI. Moving further into the mental body. You'll receive information, as I mentioned before. You'll receive information. You may receive levels of communication. In the mental body, I'm also placing levels of sight, second sight, or the sight that you acquire through the opening of the sixth chakra, commonly referred to as the third eye. You may see faces floating by you. It's perfectly okay. You don't need to acknowledge any of them. It's just that you're seeing them because you're able now to see them. Don't try to figure out, oh my gosh, I'm seeing faces. I got to figure this out. Don't try to figure it out. Just relax with that. Let it come. Let it be as it is. When you close your eyes, you may see that light, that lit up pineal gland. Let it be. Let it be. And you know now that it's a lit up pineal gland. Don't be addicted to seeing it, and don't be, sorry if you stop seeing it. Learn what it is to receive in a different way. Learn what it is to learn and educate yourself in a different way. The mental mind is changing. It's exploring the extremes, the absolute dullness and the absolute, brilliance. It'll explore those areas and let that occur. But everywhere in between, there are little pitfalls that our ego likes to put us into, and one of them is figuring everything out, and the other one is holding our brilliance as a way of competing with other people, and I'm going to tell you not to do that as well. Just as you wouldn't compare how dumb you're getting or stupid or ignorant you're getting with the Kundalini. It's like, wow, I'm more ignorant than that guy. Just the same as you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go, well, I'm more smarter than that person over there. You wouldn't do that either. This is one of the ways that we begin to initiate controls over the competitive natures that our ego will push into us. Which, let's see how much time I got left here. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. 20 minutes, okay. Which brings us to the ego. This self, that part of you that is listening to this radio show right now, is like, it wants to feel enjoyment. It wants to feel powerful. It wants to be accepted in the community. It wants to do all these things. It wants that candy, apple, marmalade, ice cream. I think. I'm not sure I want that, but yeah. It wants those things. It wants that pretty blue dress or that fine-looking Harley Davidson that the Americans love so much, or that fast car, or that, those beautiful shoes, or, whatever it is. It wants these things, and I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to suggest to you, don't give in to these things. Have what you need and need what you have. That's all you need to do. Okay? You don't need to buy into excessive fears of loss or want of gain. You don't need to buy into the rat race of constantly accumulating physical things. I'm moving a student out here to Florida, and she had to throw away all these things, and it's inside of her Kundalini. And sure, she went through a period of like, oh my gosh, do I need to get rid of it? But she's over it now, and you too. Once you start downsizing, you too will get over this. You too will get over this. So I'm going to suggest that you really begin to train your ego into not being so acquisition-oriented, not be so competitive with your fellow person, because within a Kundalini context, they cannot compete. So it's like, you can't compete with them. And they can't compete with you. It's not fair. So really begin to train your ego not to have an inner dialogue of competition. Oh my gosh, that guy tried to pass me, and he's in a Mazda? I'm going to let a Mazda pass me in my Corvette? Oh my God, I can't let that happen. So you just need to nothing against Mazdas or Corvettes. But yeah, you need to really kind of begin to rewire that self-dialogue, that inner dialogue that you have that's based around competition and also around fear of loss, want of gain, and also fear of the strangeness of life. Kundalini can really make your life strange. Telekinesis is, sounds great. Oh, God, I'd love to be able to move that orange, without touching it. Well, it scares the living daylights out of people, and they'll just want to stay away from you. They'll think you're some sort of a demon if they have that, belief system inside. You don't want to show this stuff to other people, or telepathy, or clairvoyance, unless you're there to help people. So, for instance, I respond to accidents that I see on the road. I'll stop and I'll try to give aid to people. And if a car is turned over and they're seeing, people are stuck inside because it turned over, and if it can be safely righted, then I'll call other people over, and it will seem as if we're all doing it together. Well, that's the way to go. Make it a community effort, even though your Kundalini is going to do most of the work. That's okay, because they get to have the gratifying feeling of having helped another person. And so not only are you helping the people in the car, you're helping the people in the car. It's a win-win-win. And this is how I will suggest you use any of the divine attributes that the Kundalini brings. See how I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. To call in, you would call 347-934-0026. That's 347-934-0026. And for those of you that are on the chat, which I haven't been able to view because I'm on my iPad for whatever reason, it's not loading it up, I'd like to say hello to all of you that are on the chat group right now that are listening to this show live. The number, once again, is 347-934-0026. Santara will catch your phone call, and she'll let me know that so-and-so has a question. Is there anybody with a question right now? Looks like you've got a question mark on there, Santara. Hello? Oh, you guys must be talking. Okay, all right then. Here we go. What's going on, Santara?
Hi, that was somebody ringing to know, would you say something about the upcoming Shaktipat?
Okay, sure. I give Shaktipat during the solstice and the equinox throughout the year. I've only missed it one time, which was last time because I just needed a break. So I've been doing it for a long time. They're fairly effective. If you're practicing the safeties, and these are the practices that you can go to KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, go down the left-hand margin, you'll see the safeties, and then I encourage you and I invite you to copy those down on a hard copy or read them assiduously and memorize what they mean and practice them every day. I will give you a Shaktipat based upon the practice of those qualities. I will not give you a Shaktipat outside of your practice of those qualities, certainly not at the solstice and the equinox, which are very powerful points within the year. I give these Shaktipats via a scatter field. A scatter field is a cellular consciousness that is given by the Kundalini to the individual 5 feet above their left shoulder, and this creates a conduit of interaction between the Kundalini and me and the physical person and their Kundalini and the activation rate within that physical individual. And so, because I've given Shaktipat before I had the safeties, and it was so strong that people could literally end up in the psych ward, and I just did not want to do that. That happened once, and I don't want that to happen anymore. So the scatter fields are used, and the safeties protocols are used so that people can have this within the level of practice that they're able to ascend to. You know, practices of forgiveness and tolerance and patience and trust and surrender and love. Practices of the locks, the tongue lock, the finger lock, the chin lock, the Mahabandha, which is a combination of locks. The practices of the 5 Tibetans, spinning to the right. I know some people say spin to the left, but the way we're doing them here is we spin to the right 21 times for each Tibetan. And then also, levels of understanding of what it is to meditate and how to meditate. Different mantras to say while you're meditating, and all of these can be seen, and you can actually see some videos on this. If you go to YouTube and you go to Chrism Kunalini, just go Chrism Kunalini, and one of my 250 videos will pop up, and you'll be able to go to the channel, which is Chrism and then 0 Kundalini, which it looks like Chrism O Kundalini. And you can cherry pick any of the videos that you want to see, and if they're pertaining to the Shaktipat, which a few of them are, well, then the Shaktipat will be explained in greater detail in those videos. So the upcoming Shaktipat is for the summer solstice, and I have about 60 some odd people that are participating in that. It is too late to sign up for that, but the autumnal equinox is not too late to sign up, and Centaur, if you can go ahead and put an album up for the autumn equinox Shaktipat, I'm sure you know how to do that. If not, let me know, and I'll set it up. And we can begin sign-ups for the Autumnal Equinox Shaktipat of 2013. And you need to put a picture into that. This is on the Yahoo group or the Facebook group. There's a Facebook group that is called Chrism Kundalini Shaktipat. So if you're on Facebook, you can partake of that. If you're not, and you're on Yahoo, then go to the Kundalini Awakening Systems 1.com, or actually Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 at YahooGroups.com. Looks like I'm down to 10 minutes. Okay, yes. So you can go there and you can begin to initiate your connection with your Kundalini. It's not the requirement. You can do it anyway. I mean, you can go get Shaktipat from somebody else, and I'll do my best to help you with it. But if I would really recommend that you not use entities for Shaktipat. Do not use discarnate entities, ghosts, spirits, elves, ascended masters of this ray or that ray, archangels, normal angels. Do not use them for Kundalini acquisition and experience. Use your own self. Do I have a question there, Santara? Looks like I might have somebody waiting.
I haven't. Do you want to just? I'll check that for you now. One moment.
Thank you. Thank you for your help with that. So, yeah, I'm going to leave the last 8 minutes now, for anybody who might want to call in and ask a specific question about your Kundalini Awakening experience. The experiences will vary. Once again, your karma is unique to you. The next show, I'll do a quick reminder of some of the stuff that we covered today, some of the major points, but then I'm going to go into levels of pain management, confusion management, suicide. These all, especially suicide, will have a direct effect on your health. Yes, I hear somebody here.
It's Sashji, and he has a question for you, so you can speak to him there now.
Hello, Sashji. Blessings to you.
Hello, Master C. How are you?
How may I help you, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you. I have a couple of questions. One is, I have been finding that as my practice is progressing, I'm unable to wear certain jewelry, such as a pendant made of a fairly energetic mineral, or anything of that sort. I find that it causes sort of a disturbance in my field. And I was hoping that you might speak to that regarding how Kundalini will change the structure of your auric field, such that those things are a hindrance instead of a help.
Very good question. Thank you, my friend, for answering it. Yes, I will, of course, speak to that in the 7 minutes I have. Certain metals, encircling metals like rings or watches or bracelets or things like that will be discouraged by the Kundalini, because some of the metals will have the effect of diverting flow or in some way emitting a toxin into the jewelry. Or into the skin from the jewelry. And none of them have some vainglorious qualities, not certainly speaking to you, Basti, but to other people they have kind of a vainglorious meaning, big, bright baubles, things of that nature. The Kundalini wants you to begin to recognize that you are a jewel. You are an adorned jewel of divine, sacred godliness. And God does not need jewelry to exemplify herself or himself. So certain imbued qualities of jewelry, so for instance, people will give me jewelry to Shaktivate or to Shaktipat, give a Shaktipat to jewelry. That's different. That's different in the fact that it's a Kundalini-oriented gift. It is not a gift that has any other expression or meaning attached to it. So as I give, I'll various private students I have, I'll give a Shaktipat to one or two things that they may want to wear. And because it is of a Kundalini origin, all of a sudden, that metal is changed, that glass is changed, that jewel is changed, that mineral is changed. It's changed on a molecular basis into a Kundalini conduit. And those things can be worn, and they'll be worn without a problem or without any kind of an intuition to not wear it. But without that type of a molecular change, the Kundalini will often say, no, don't wear that. Don't wear anything. Don't wear anything. Apologies. I'm in a Tenny's parking lot right now in the Mojave Desert. So you may.
I have got one other question here while I'm on, and then I'm going to get off. I have the strangest growth that seems to have appeared overnight on my left leg. And,
where on the left leg? Where on?
On my calf, my lower calf, right above the ankle, and it exemplified a lot of the things that you were talking about, specifically the release of.
Okay, all right, I got you. I want you to go ahead and encourage that release. This is blocking one of the. Is it on your left calf, right?
Yes.
Left? Yeah.
Yes.
This has to do with one of the channels that are coming up from the left big toe. One of the Kundalini channels that are coming up. There's a feminine aspect of yourself that is being blocked, a feminine receptive aspect, and so I want you to go ahead and drain the fluid if you feel comfortable doing that.
Oh, it doesn't have any fluid, Master C. It's just
okay,
sort of dry and crusty, and the histamine expression is happening as well around it.
Did you get bit by an insect? Did you get bit by a spider?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's quite possible.
Does it look like a target? Does it look like a target? Does it have like a central area and then an expanding ring around it?
Yes, it does appear to be that way. At first, it just sort of looked like a sore, like a large scab, and then as I applied some essential oils to it, it started to lower and lower and lower. So I don't quite know if that's if it's a bite. It is possible since we live in Michigan.
Yeah. If it continues to get, you know what necrosis is? Do you know what that is?
No.
That's that. If the tissue begins to die, I want you to go to an MD as soon as you can. Okay. I want you to go to an ER and let them know that this has been, when it happened, how long it's been going on, and if it's that the tissue is turning black and green and things like that. Okay.
No, it's not doing that at all. It's just the
red.
The side of it is just around it is some redness, but it's not intense. I mean, it's not growing. I've had it for about at least 2 months. So I suspected it might have been. I beg your pardon?
Keep an eye on it, my friend. I'm gonna get disconnected pretty quick here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
down
off.
to a minute
so I appreciate
41.
your help.
Oh, my friend, it's good to hear you. Very good to hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. Looking forward to the Shaktipat.
Lauren, can you come online? Hello, Lauren.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. Ask me a question quick. They're going to cut me off.
Okay. I was just introduced to this, so I'm not going to ask you to tell me anything about it, but what should be my first step in getting into this?
Oh, well I'm going to suggest you go straight to the safeties. The safeties themselves, Lauren, are an activation platform, and they do it in the safest way possible. But I want you to be ready.
I've already opened my third eye and everything, if that's what you mean.
No. I'm talking about Kundalini.
I will shut up and let you talk then. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go to the safety protocols and begin a daily practice of those safety protocols. They will begin a refinement process within you that will really coalesce in an awakening of the Kundalini within you. And feel free to email me privately at kfireforall@yahoo.com, and I'll go into more detail for you personally, Lauren. They're going to cut me off.
You are
10,
amazing.
9,
Thank
8.
you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Just tell me your
Thank you,
email
Sandra.
address, or type it in the chat, and I'll email you right now.
kfireforall@yahoo.com. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm typing.